Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Ashala bringing you the Psychic Tarot Show. This is insights for this upcoming week, starting today, June 22nd, and going till the 29th. We are in the still massive energy of that powerful Capricorn full moon. I saw it last night when I was driving home, and it was just incredible. It's called the strawberry moon. It literally looked pink. I don't know if it looked like that from where you were. And, having that combined with summer solstice, and for those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, that would be winter solstice. But either way, the solstices and the equinoxes are like this pause moment when the veils are very thin. We've seen an entire spring. We've seen an entire season like that between, the eclipse and all of the solar flares. And now this full moon energy is no exception. So I'd like to tune in with all of our collective guides today and see what this upcoming week has in store for us. I love to feel like just having that little bit of activation and awareness beforehand as the week begins, we can maximize our greatest potential to really pay attention to what's unfolding around us and make the most of our relationship to those events. So it's lovely to see you. Thank you for joining me here, Earth Dragon. Yes, lovely to see you. I'm actually tuned in and got the message I was supposed to wear my wood dragon necklace. It's actually a metal pendant. I don't know if you can see it there. But it's the year of the wood dragon in Chinese astrology, and I tune in with that energy as well. And what we know about the wood dragon energy is it is so dynamic and activating and potent and fierce. And so we add that to a lot of other factors. And I think that's probably why we're all having that experience of just time going so quickly. And summertime when the sun is high here in the Northern Hemisphere, it's always very activating, but this year is just extraordinary. So hang on to your hats, folks. We'll tune in and see what the guides want to say about the week ahead. Hello there, Andrea, Cobb Burr, Ranubi. Lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. So I'm going to shuffle just for a moment or two. I've already cleared the deck, meaning that I just kind of energized the deck, did several shufflings of it to clear any old energy from my readings from this past week. And now we're starting afresh. So let's see what this week has in store. We've got the beautiful sun energy on the bottom. So that's relevant. It's just peeking out from its highest position that is just starting to wane today a wee bit, and this week just beginning to wane here in the north and get a little bit brighter down in the south. I'm going to lay out the whole wheel this week. I got the message that I should do that. And then I'll talk about the individual cards. I'll say where they are, what they are as I lay them out. This is the Emperor. He's showing up in the House of Self, Aries. Judgment, another major arcana, 22 in total. We've got 2 so far. Judgment, the big wake-up call in the House of Taurus, finances, security, resources. We've got another major arcana. Woohoo! 3 out of 22 so far. And this is the Chariot showing up in the House of Gemini. Ideas, thoughts, very mercurial energy, lots of curiosity. Okay, now we've got 4 of Swords in the House of Home and Sanctuary. Looks like we could all use a little bit of relaxation and downtime. This is like a recuperation card. It's a rest. It is calm your thoughts, go into a bit of retreat and meditate, especially around the mind, right? Okay, here in the house of Leo, our expansiveness, our courage, our ego, Six of Cups, very sweet inner child. In the house of Virgo, our daily activities, our lifestyle, our health, King of Cups. Well, that'll be interesting to talk about. And in the house of relationship, Libra, it's also about contracts and agreements. We've got the Two of Swords, a bit of a stalemate or a pause. In the house of Scorpio, let's just see if I can move this down a bit so you can see what's going on up here. This is the Three of Pentacles. And in the house of Sagittarius, which is about our, our spontaneity, our freedom, our expansiveness. Well, this is a very internal card. High Priestess, super psychic, guardian of the gate between our conscious and our unconscious or subconscious mind. Interesting. I see this line between what's going on in our thoughts and what's going on in our subconscious. So we could be very suggestible this week, but let me just keep going, finish off the wheel, and then I'll start diving into it a bit more. Four of Wands, you can barely see it there, a lovely gateway card. We've got two gateway cards. We've got the Judgment in the house of Taurus and Four of Wands in the house of Capricorn. Two gateways, both of them in earth signs. So gateways are about moving up, progressing, up leveling to a higher version, a better timeline, all those kinds of things. Both those gateway cards are in earth signs. So something to do with our practical, earthly, worldly lives are getting a big upgrade this week. Okay. Now we go to Aquarius, the house of Aquarius, friends, allies, networks, and we've got a very creative, witchy Queen of Wands there. That's nice. We'll find out what she's all about when we look at when I start to analyze it as a whole. And finally, in the house of Pisces, our subconscious, we have Seven of Wands, holding the line, valor, holding through the energy. So I want to start off by saying we've had a lot of dynamic frequency energy, big energy moving the last few weeks. Thankfully, I don't see that pressure. I feel like we're out of the pressure cooker this week because there's a lot of cards, the Four of Swords and Cancer, like, taking a little rest. The High Priestess in the house of Sag. So in terms of expansion, we're going inward, not outward. We don't have all of those those ones that we've had over the last few weeks of like all that Eight of Wands energy and like Tower energy and Wheel of Fortune energy, all those cards that are pushing us and driving us. Now, we might still be on a bit of an energetic train in our thoughts. So our thoughts may be still running wild this week. It's sort of like, when you apply the brakes to a train and it takes a while for it to come to a stop. That's what I'm getting around our thoughts this week. We've got the Chariot here. So our thoughts may still be running away on us a bit. And if we really want to get the most out of Jupiter is our lucky house, right? Sagittarius is where luck comes in. If we want to get the most of the luck, the sooner in the week you can slow that thought train down, go into a bit of meditation. For some of us, we have to actually work at this. I sure do. I'm a Gemini. I've got all this air in my chart, which is thoughts, ideas, processing mentally. And for me to stop, I have to do a whole series of things. What works for me is to get into my physical body, do breath work, do things, practices like Qigong, put my feet on the ground, get grounded first. And then I have to very purposefully do meditation type practices so that my mind stops going. And, it takes a while. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 days of applying that regularly to gradually pull myself away from those thought trains. So, oh no, I just said the Eight of Wands is not there, and it shows up at the very end. It had to make an appearance. So Eight of Wands is swiftness. It's everything we love about summer. So much to do, so many places to go, things to see. The sun's up. We're up later. It's light later here in the Northern Hemisphere, and we're on the go. So it feels like earlier in the week, we might just have a bit of a reprieve, take some breaths, and then later in the week, we're going to be on the go again. So that's interesting. Okay, speaking of on the go, I'm just going to tune in, see how everybody's doing, and make sure that my sound is good. Aw. Sip Peterson. Sometimes your names are so hard for me to pronounce. Really lovely to hear from you. Patriot 36. Yay. Hi there, Fran. Lovely to see you. Shemaya, early morn. Yeah. So nice to see you. Before I forget, let's have a look at, let's talk about this first. I want to mention that there is going to be a solstice meditation. And I'm not sure if they're just talking about summer solstice. I mean, they have summer solstice up here on the description, but solstice is solstice, whether you're in the southern hemisphere or the northern hemisphere. And so Meg and Janine are doing this really awesome presentation. It is on June 23rd, so tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to reserve your spot to check that out. Okay, so I also want to remind you to like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic channel, Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic. And finally, if you would like to book a reading with me, here's how you can access this in the consultations page, Psychic Tarot Reading Session. It's a 1-hour session. In that session, we do a big picture overview, wheel spread for your life right now. At the very beginning, we take about 15 minutes or so to do that. And then after that, we go in whatever direction you want. We look at any questions that you have. We can look at specific little details about things or general questions. And if you don't have any questions right now, don't worry, because you probably will. Okay, so let's go back to this big spread for all of us for the week. Let's count how many major arcana we have. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we started off with a lot in that first area, and then it turned out that we only have 4. So again, I keep getting this feeling about this week that it is a bit of a pause in a very dynamic cycle of energy. And I feel as though it would be great to take advantage of that pause, especially, like I said, in the first 3 or 4 days. So basically till about Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, if you can slow yourself down, because there's going to be more waves. And if you're already running on empty and pushing yourself to your max and your thought train is just going, if there's more energy applied, that can very quickly lead to burnout. It looks like we're holding in a good way by the end of this week. This is a very balanced card. It's like the perfect amount of energy, not too much, not too little. When I talk about energy, I'm talking about, your motivation, your, what they call your chi or your life force, like what gets you up and motivated in the morning, what drives you. We can all be feeling quite like we've gone through a few weeks, maybe even a couple of months of being really pushed to grow fast, pushed to evolve, pushed to do a lot, pushed to think a lot, pushed to be a lot. And, it's important that we have these pauses. It's really important. Interesting, even in the area of relationships and contracts. So if you're looking at signing something, if you're looking at making some kind of decision around something to do with either partnership or any sort of legal matter, it does feel like you're waiting, possibly even a couple of weeks. You're just letting the dust settle. And yeah, I also am getting a feeling around, the activations out on the global stage that we've been preparing for, that we've been predicting and praying will happen more, sooner and in a more obvious way than what they have been. So I get that there's been a big push in this last couple of months. There's been quite a lot of different types of disclosure, different types of up-leveling. We've got those two big up-leveling cards here in the physical realm. It's almost like letting the physical realm catch up to the energy realm. And, this week, we're just waiting for things to catch up, basically, is what I'm getting. And I feel what I've been seeing in my readings in the last couple of weeks is that there is an improvement. I've been hearing stories from so many people that their family members and friends that were asleep, fully asleep, they're starting to come light in through the cracks. And there's a lot more going on behind the scenes and under the surface than what we acknowledge. It's almost like the, iceberg syndrome, right? It doesn't look like there's a lot going on in terms of big change, progress being made, up leveling happening, and yet it feels like there is. Now, interesting, we've got this Three of Pentacles, the entrepreneur, projects, making things tangible. So this is a working together with others, collaborating. That's beautiful to have in Scorpio because it's, it feels like it's a gradual shift over 3 months and really culminating around a 3-year period. But what I'm being shown is the energy that we're putting these new projects, plans, ideas together with other people. What we're doing, how we're doing it is going to be so much more lasting and bonding and solid than what we've done before. And I'm being shown, our collective guides are showing me, in the old paradigm, what bonded people and committed them were these agreements, contracts, oaths, spells, and they had to be so strict and rigid because there wasn't a lot of energy, cohesive synergy under the surface. People were rallying against a lot of the systems and a lot of the demands that the controlling elite were putting on, average people. And so there wasn't the glue that held communities and cultures and people together was not very strong. So there had to be all these rules and regulations and laws and all that kind of stuff, right? Well, now we're rebuilding with an energy that's like magnetic. We don't need as much in the way of regulation and laws and rules and all that kind of stuff. This is the patriarch, the authority, law and order. Pausing on that, rebuilding with the synergy. If you've ever worked on a project where everyone is there because they want to be and they're helping each other and things run smoothly, it's the most amazing feeling. It's like you can feel people are literally like, oh, I would love to stay in this frequency and I would commit myself, I would devote myself to seeing the results that come from this kind of agreement, right? Very different than laws and rules. So think about that this week. What are you building? Even if it's slowly, think less about what you're building and more about how it's held together. What's holding it together? And what I'm being shown is the thing that's holding it together is this beautiful energy of love, gratitude, contributionism. When people aren't being forced, when they're choosing in a sovereign way to commit to something. And I always say, start small and start short term, build. This kind of glue is like trust, and it takes time to build and retrain ourselves. A lot of us are like, I don't know, I don't trust that. If there's not a lot of structure, not a lot of rules, and not a lot of certain kinds of accountability, it doesn't feel safe to me. Well, this week, just pause on that and allow yourself to look for evidence that new kinds of collaborative works are underway, and notice places in your life where there is a kind of natural glue, harmonic glue that's holding things, bonding things together. It's like a super glue, a crazy super glue that isn't about being pushed into something. So I don't know why they took me on a bit of a rant, our collective guides, but so be it. There we go. Just want to have a look down here and check in with your comments. Hello from Tenerife, Canary Islands. Wow. Welcome, welcome. Hello to Judith. Yay. Lupo. Lynn Daisy. Okay, question. Can you ask the cards if there's been a major shift in our consciousness since the solstice? My intuition tells me that there has been. Lupo 5. Good question. I'm just going to peek up here. Oh, gosh. Katie Cat talking about caffeine. Yeah. I agree, right? It's those things that just stimulate us even more. Like we're in a very stimulating time, and it's quite easy to kind of just get revved, and it's hard to slow that down, isn't it? You're like, okay, I guess I got to keep going. Go, go, go. More caffeine, more, more energy. So good point. And, I want to say that you're not alone with these challenges. And when you look at making changes, look at this. In the house of health, we have King of Cups, really deep. Again, it's about the real deal, deep, deep emotional truths, deep inside of us, and when we're changing things and when we're addressing challenges in our own psyche, in our own physical body, in our own addictive patterns, when we have success with those things, even a little bit, it's helping all of us. So if you're thinking about this and you're struggling, reach out and connect energetically with each other. Just feel I'm not alone. And, it's almost like I'm getting chilled when I say it. It's like if you imagine there's like 80 to 100 of us, 8,000 to 10,000 of us at that moment, all going, should I have another coffee? No, I should have some lemon water. Yes, okay. If I can do it, you can do it. You can do it. It's like, as we do that and just tune in and go, oh, yeah, I'm with you. And thanks for giving me the strength. And here, let me give you a little of encouragement as well. We're not so isolated as it feels. And we don't have to change everything overnight. Every little win counts for something. Okay. Let's ask the cards. I'm going to actually just hold the deck up here and open it randomly with my left hand. So the left hand connects to the right side of our brain, which is the more intuitive side of our brain, our hemispheres. So we use the left hand to pull cards, to cut the deck. We can shuffle with both hands, but when we're actually cutting the deck or pulling an individual card from an oracle deck or a tarot deck, it's really great to use your left hand. So I'm going to, with my left hand, open the deck randomly. So here's my left thumb, going to open like that. Okay, so you asked, has there been a major shift in our consciousness since the solstice? Well, if there's one stick of dynamite in the tarot, it's the King of Wands. I mean, actually, he's more like a bundle of dynamite. All the wands are a bit like dynamite. I mean, they even look like it, right? They look like this fuse on the top that's getting lit and activated. So yeah, I feel like we're being activated and lit up. And some of the things that we're struggling with, trying to keep up in the physical, right? We talked about how our physical world is going to be catching up with all these upgrades this week. So what does that mean? That means that, your practical things in your life, everything to do with your stuff, be it, your clothes, your cars, your vehicles, your homes, money, finances, banking, all of those kind of material things. And of course, these 3D physical bodies, they've been struggling. All of that physicality has been struggling to catch up to the energy activations that have happened so quickly on the other levels, mentally, emotionally, energetically. The physical is like, oh, hold on a minute. I can't keep up. So interesting, look what's right underneath that, the moon. Well, we also had this big full moon, and the full moon is in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is about the big picture plans. It's about, your responsibilities. It's about organizing your physical reality, your money, your material possessions. It's about getting all your ducks in the row, basically. Well, this full moon, along with all the solar activation that's been happening, is making us feel like we're out of alignment. I certainly have been feeling it. I'm like, wow, it just seems like I'm having a hard time just doing basic, simple tasks. Like everything seems to be like I'm moving through molasses or something, Well, I feel like yes to the solstice and double yes to that full moon. And guess what? Next month's full moon, I think it's on the 24th of July, also in the sign of Capricorn. Every once in a while, that happens. And what that means is we're getting a kind of doubling up on everything to do with, rules, responsibility, material things, practical stuff, and having to take a really deep look at those things. And I think that there's 2 Capricorn full moons back to back because we need at least a month or 2 for the physical aspects of our lives to catch up, as I said before, with all of these other upgrades. Well, I'm looking forward to feeling like all my physical reality is caught up, because it's a strange feeling to be like, my emotions and my energy and my thoughts even feel pretty good, but physical stuff just feels like I'm like, oh, like, where you walk back and forth between 2 rooms like 3 times and you're like, what the heck? What was I going for? Like that kind of thing. Okay, so let's just quickly tune in here again. If you would like to book a session with me, well, check this out. There we go. Psychic Tarot reading sessions with Ashala. You'll notice there's a coupon code below, Beyond Mystic, all in capital letters. I think there's something else added to it. Anyway, check out the coupon banner below. And if you use that coupon, you can get 10% off booking your session with me. I'm just went in and had a look at my calendar. I was wrong thinking that I was fully booked in July. I'm not fully booked in July yet. So that's not that far away. You can still get a session with me, I think, around mid-July. If you want to book something, please use the link below. And don't forget to use that coupon code to get your discount. Okay, and absolutely like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. And finally, let's check out this meditation, this monthly meditation, and this one focusing on the solstice, and that is tomorrow, June 23rd, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is with our lovely Meg and Janine. Super. I hope I can make it on that. That would be awesome. So just having a little look here before I say sayonara for the week. Yay. Blessings to all of you. Just so you know, if you would like to post a question up on these lives, please put them all in capital letters, because then I can just scroll along and find your question easily. So you want to join us next week and you want to put a question up, that would be lovely. It's been such a pleasure to share with all of you. Have a beautiful week, and I will see you here next time. Bye for now. Blessings, everybody.